welcome to Pre-Match Focus with your host, me, Tim.
And me, Lee. How you doing, mate?
Good, good. How are you, bud?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Feeling fresh.
Fresher today. Yeah, even I'm feeling a busy week, but feeling a lot fresher. I'm not going to lie.
You're looking
Guys,
fresher.
Yeah,
Well,
tell you what, I must have hit the Guinness Book of World Records for blinks last week. Honestly, I'm like, looking back on the video when we were doing the editing, I'm like,
I couldn't remember if I mentioned whether you had a bit of an eye injury in the show, but
I think
yeah.
I briefly mentioned it at the beginning.
Yeah, he wasn't having a stroke on air.
As I said, it was the result of watching that Wolves game.
I should have been the one blinking and passing out everywhere, shouldn't I? Yeah, I think I was a bit too angry for that. I'd have been after. I think I'd have probably had a bit of a seizure. So
Yeah.
on today, a little bit.
Already on. He's already on 10 green bottles. Have it. Right then, let's crack on then, shall we, Leroy?
Yeah, let's go.
We've got a game starting Saturday the 5th of March this week, which conclude on Monday the 7th of March. So we start off with the 12:30 kickoff, which is Leicester at home to Leeds.
Yeah, so you've got, well, this could have been, for me, the game of the weekend with if Bielsa was in charge. But we don't know what we're going to get with this Jesse March, to be honest with you.
He's meant to be similar.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I don't think they want similar, though, with the defence, but you can't really change that halfway for the season there. So,
like high pressing kind of teams he likes, and kind of that same kind of mold. Obviously, Leipzig, we're getting more and more of this brand coming into the Premier League. So
the Red Bull brand.
and Ranić and all these little
confidants coming in.
Minions.
Yeah, he's contingent. That's the word, matter.
Yeah.
He didn't get much of a fair crack of the whip, did he? At Leipzig, I don't think he even lasted. I think that was his first season this season, wasn't it? And he's obviously gone by Christmas. So, I mean, by their standards, yeah, they should have been doing better. But sometimes people need time to get the
as well.
Yeah, they just need to get the instructions across, don't they? And it takes time.
It can take a year.
So it is a bit of a risky one for Leeds because they're in that position now where he's going to have to get across quick to them.
Yeah,
and they need to be
because they've not got time to with the remainder of the season if they want to stay in this league, and they've got some precarious games still. So, yeah.
The issue's been that defence. I mean, was it the orders from Bielsa or was it the players? Because to me, it seems like the players don't know what they're doing in defence, even though on paper, Robin Koch and Diego Llorente have played at a decent level. They've struggled over it. Pascal Struijk is in and out of form every now and again, isn't he? Ayling is ailing a little bit and failing.
Yeah, I rate Ayling. I'm not going to lie.
I think he's declined. Yeah, I think he's declined a bit.
It's true, but the problem is, I think with the amount of onslaught that defence gets, because when Calvin Phillips isn't playing in the midfield, it gets completely overrun, and that's where it all goes wrong.
Yeah,
that's where it all goes wrong because Forshaw's completely not up to it. Pogba had him in his pocket at times, and Pogba was just walking. So, I just think if you've no strength in the middle, we're the same. If you've no strength in the middle of the park, then that's where the onslaught comes in. It makes your defenders look 10 times worse than they actually are because they're receiving like 10 times the barrage of attempts that they're trying to close down. If your midfield's completely tight, then your defence is only, you could probably count on two hands how many chances they're going to come up against, I suppose, in a game. So, well, look at the teams over the years. Like, you look at the Man City team, they don't concede more than 10 chances in a game.
Not anymore. I mean, like when there was probably just before the Pep era, there was sort of like letting in. I mean, even when he first come, there was letting in goals, weren't they? And they're sort of like tightened up on that.
You saw
obviously
shots against City though years ago.
Yeah, you did, and you know, there's many a time where they would fail, and most of the time you just expect them to win the games. Which we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, where we probably need Guardiola to go to make the league a bit more interesting again. But
well, it's the business model that they've created there at City, which is really good. You know, they've got it right from top to bottom. I'm quite envious, really, but they have got it right, and they're the team still at the forefront, to be honest. Won't be far away. And
I think they'll get it right eventually, unless they go and buy Chelsea, these owners. Sell them up and go to Chelsea. I bet they must have been kicking themselves when they had that news.
People are seeing too much into all this because he's gone and all that's happened. He's trying to sell it to a Swiss company who is owned by Roman Abramovich.
So he's not really selling it.
Switching shell companies, basically. So he's still in charge. He's just thought ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Thinking of tax purposes as well. So
I haven't looked anything into it. The only headline I've seen with that is about him selling up. I haven't looked anything into any of it. I've been quite lazy with looking into the news this week. I'm probably fed up with looking at it, but I haven't really looked too much into what his reasons were, or well, mainstream media getting on his back, isn't it, and all that. But,
always is.
Yeah. Good old media, right? We love it. That's what we're doing now. But not mainstream, so.
Right then, Lee. Let's chat on about this Leicester Leeds game then, shall us? We always go off topic. Sorry, guys. But
yeah, I'm just hoping it's going to be a cracker of a game. Hopefully, I mean, Leicester seem to have picked up the form again a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Friday back definitely helps them.
Oh, they changed the game the other day. Maddison and Vardy, when they came on, they just practically won the game for them, didn't they? Turned into something.
Confuses me why Maddison's been on the bench for the last month.
I don't know whether there's been any injuries or niggles to him, or whether he's been rested for that game. But yeah, he seems to be a bit of an in and out player, doesn't he? I mean, a lot of people mention him with England.
He's the only person that creates anything. Harvey Barnes does, but his decision making sometimes leaves a bit to be.
Yeah, he's very. He's the type of player like Harvey Barnes, very direct.
Yeah, I do.
You know, he's going for the juggler all the time, isn't he? And he will make a lot of those mistakes. Well, you'll probably think, oh God, what's he done there, type of thing. But you know, he just keeps going, doesn't he? And I like that in a player. Yeah, especially an attacking player. Maddison for me is having his best year. So yeah, like if you're saying why isn't he playing as consistently, then it is a bit baffling, especially when it looks like it could be Tillman's last season. You know, you've got to try and get him to be ahead of the game with him not being in soon. So
I ain't being funny, but you just put him supporting your striker, wouldn't you? Surely.
Yeah, be off the striker. Yeah, definitely. They play a bit of a 4-5-1 usually, don't they? So
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why he isn't in that team, regardless of whether Tielemans or indeed is in that team or whoever is in that middle. You know.
So he's used Dewsbury a lot this season, hasn't he? And he seems to play more consistently than what Maddison is. So.
Yeah, still jury's out for me yet with the Dewsbury old kid.
He seems like a neat player, neat, tidy player.
Yeah, but you don't expect anybody to cross them white lines if they're not.
Yeah, I know.
You've got to be better than us.
Especially playing that level, yeah.
Especially our age now. You know, but you'd expect him to have a bit of something getting onto that pitch in the first place. So, I don't know. I think you've got to be a neat player. You've got to be able to see your next pass as you're receiving the ball. You've got to be able to find space. You've got to be able to look up. You've got to be able to spot where the runs are. You've got to know when to release the ball. You've got to know when to defend in situations. And, you know, those are just the fundamentals of getting to even being in that position. You know, your standard Sunday League player knows all this. Can they execute it as well? Maybe not all of them, but the fundamentals, they know what they are. So when it comes to these kind of things, oh, he's a neat player. Yeah, he's a neat player, but you look for that little bit more, don't you? We're talking Premier League football here. We're talking about the elite, paid elite of the elites, right? So you've got to have that little extra something, that little spark which makes you a bit special. Harvey Barnes has got that little bit of a spark. That Dewsbury, not seen it. I've not seen anything yet that suggests to me that he's going to set the world alight a bit. I think he's going to be a bit of one of these that comes in, they'll force it a little bit, and then I almost think at times it's probably been a bit of a downfall of how they've been, really.
Feel like he's been a bit of a weaker link to them, or
yeah, because obviously there's nothing against the kid. I agree with what you were saying 100%. He's a tidy, neat player, looks good on the ball, release it, but there's nothing. He doesn't seem too effective. Every time he's had shots and whatever, I think he scored 1 or 2, but every time he's had shots wayward or skyward or, I just think it's like sometimes you're like trying to force something that's not there. A bit like McTominay, really, I think.
I think it's shown the way that the game's sort of gone, like with the money side of things, like a lot of funding going in. A lot of youth players are probably coming from other clubs and that now. And then, like when we was last in the Premier League under McCarthy, I was seeing a shitload of players that weren't Premier League quality, but the money was starting to creep in then, wasn't it? And now you've got the money game. These are probably players that would be top class Championship players and maybe on the verge of being a good Premier League player. So that's maybe where he comes into that bracket. That's why you don't see as many now. Is there many in the Premier League that you see that think he ain't Premier League quality? Or obviously you mentioned Forshaw, he's a Championship player.
Leeds have got a couple. Leeds essentially are a Championship team that have overachieved in a way, and there's a lot that I see in the Premier League which I think is like that. Brentford have got a few. Watford have got a lot.
I think with them, they've probably just come up from that transition, haven't they, as well? So they probably should leave that bit.
Still, you've got like some which are Premiership players, borderline even, and then you've got still them which are kind of exceeding the limit in a way, trying to keep some kind of status as a Premier League footballer. But I get it, and that's what everyone's dream is. That's great, but you've got to try and progress that a little bit more. You've got to get better, and there are a lot which do get better as soon as they come into the Premier League fold, and then they disappear again, and then their team potentially comes back into the fold again. Then they're getting looked at, and then it's like, look at Bamford. Bamford's a really good example of this, I think, for Leeds, because he got sent to a ridiculous amount of clubs, loads of clubs.
Yeah,
like he was raved about first of all early on, and then every time he got sent anywhere, Middlesbrough, he went loads of places, Cardiff,
Norwich. I remember him at Norwich and Middlesbrough, Leeds even on loan.
But everywhere until Leeds, I was like, not having this lad at all. I don't see the hype. I've never seen the hype on him. Everywhere, he's not really looked that great.
But he was a decent Championship striker, and then you thought he ain't going to make a step up. But
that was it. So he went to Leeds, and then started bagging for fun. And he's like, right, okay, well, I'll give him benefit of the doubt. Let's see how he is when he comes into the Premier League. And he took it in his stride, and fair play. And he looked ready. His stature, he wasn't just like tall and thin and lanky. He was like, had a bit of something about him. He were a bit leaner, He lent into challenges more, were a bit more physical, looked better with his head, actually, as he got into the Premier League than I'd seen him early on. I just think he's turned out to be a really good Premier League player. Obviously, injuries plagued him a bit this year, but I think they've got a good in him. But do you know what I mean? I think there's loads in the Premier League, really. Even at United, I could say there's a lot which are Championship type players, but we're forcing the issue, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think the Championships actually took a bit of a decline now. I mean, I was watching some of the games in the week. I was like, I was stunned by how bad it was because it seemed to be picking up to a level of where you thought, like these players, it could be like a second Premier League. Some of the players that are going in there, some of them are absolutely shocking. Can't even pass the ball 3 yards, and it was painful to watch. And I'm referring to an Albion game. It was painful to watch Albion. I should be laughing at it, but it was actually painful to watch the quality of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, really, because Championship is a very, very tough league. If you get relegated to the Championship from the Premier League, there's no guarantees that you're coming straight back home at all. Doesn't matter who you are.
I think there's been a bit of a leeway recently because you get all this parachute money and that, and you just do seem to get a lot of the teams being back in that top six. Albion being the exception this year, but I think they just need a complete rebuild.
They're just throwing it away from themselves.
Yeah, they're just, I don't know, they're on big wages, obviously, a lot of the players, and then not performing, are they? They're not sticking to any direction, are they? So, apart from going down, one direction down.
One direction, yeah. That's what I say.
He's an Albion fan as well, so you have that, Liam.
Well, I'm saying 1-1 on this one.
I've gone for 2-1. Not completely confident about it because I just do not know how Marsh is going to set up this Leeds team. Never been a big fan of American coaches coming into the English game. We haven't had many, but like the thought of it.
2-1 Leicester, are you?
2-1 Leicester, yeah. My tip for that would be both score, no draw. Surely they both got to score, right?
Yeah, I think they're both going to score.
Two of the leakiest defences, I think, easily.
Yeah, definitely.
If Leeds still attacked the way that they did under Bielsa, if this was a Bielsa, I'll probably have had about 4-3 on this. I just can't tell you with Marsh. I need to see his team play, and we'll make an assessment from there.
It's still first week. They're still going to have it in them, Leeds, to be like that.
Yeah.
The
conceding's going to be there. Is whether they go and attack the same.
It can only be a bit like that, really. If I'm honest, what else have they got?
I know. Well, they're going to have to. Yeah. It just depends if he lets them have that freedom of going forward again. I imagine he will, because he's got no other choice. If he has his team defending, like if you put Roy Hodgson in this team, even he wouldn't work his defensive magic on that, would he?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Right. Well, on to the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Villa at home to Southampton. I think this will be a good game. This was the one I had my eye on. But I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game, but I think there'll be plenty of chances.
Yeah, it's one of them where I've had to look in a bit of hindsight on things again. Like where say teams like Southampton, when they get a really good run of form, is it going to stick there? You don't see many mid-table teams go and win about 7-8 on the bounce.
No.
So I've just sat on the fence and gone for a draw with this one because Villa got a good win at Brighton last week, but I think they need to sort out the consistency of home form at the moment.
Yeah,
I think from what I've been seeing lately of their games, they seem to be quite lethargic in their approach. Like whether it's a bit of a fear of a fan backlash or anything, but they just don't seem to be the same team as what they are when they go away for me. Southampton, when they came to Molineux, going back from what I can see off an away team, weren't amazing, but they weren't bad. I've seen worse down there. So I think you'll see Southampton nicking a goal. Mm-hmm. And I think Villa, they'll have a bit of confidence on that Brighton victory. Yeah. Though they have taken advantage of a team in quite bad form. So I've gone for 1-1 on this one.
I've gone for 1-1 on this one.
Bang on.
We agree. And what's your tip for that one then, Lee?
Yeah, both teams to score on that one.
Okay. Right, on to the second of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've got Burnley at home at Turf Moor to ownerless Chelsea.
Apparently ownerless.
He's going to put a scarf and a bobble hat on, and come back, yodel a few times, and just pretend he's not Roman Abramovich. Yeah. I'm back.
Yeah, he's going to have one of them comedy moustaches on and everything. and the black glasses
Yeah.
with the big nose. God,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say on this game because it's going to depend on Chelsea in the first half hour of yesterday's game was shocking. The
They were awful,
defending,
weren't
yeah, but you've stuck a keeper who's just been shot to bits from his David De Gea look-alike competition, player-like, shall I say? As soon as I brought him on in that cup final last week,
I knew
exactly
it were
what was
going
gonna happen.
wrong.
Yeah, it was going to be exactly the same as De Gea, and it's exactly the same way it went.
Exactly. Only one to miss.
Must be a Spanish thing. Never been good at penalties, however, the Spanish.
Mendy had an absolute beauty of a game as well. That was it's like, poor lad, let him finish the game off.
Yeah. But well, my tip last week was Chelsea to lift that trophy. If they kept him in goal last week, they'd have won that trophy.
I think
They wouldn't have scored all those penalties, Liverpool, no way.
No. Not with Mendy in net. No, Kepa got nowhere near him, though.
No, I mean, Keller in the Liverpool goal, he weren't much better. I know he's a kid and he hasn't had as much experience, but he was nowhere near saving any of Chelsea's.
No. Chelsea have got a good team of penalty takers, though.
Yeah. So, that tip for Chelsea to win the trophy, easily the coming.
From under our noses.
It was.
Well, I'm going with, I think there'll only be a goal in this, and I can see Burnley scoring, so I've gone with 2-1 Chelsea. I think they'll kind of scrape and think, oh, God, I think it'll go 1-1. They might even go 1-0 up Burnley, I reckon. Bit of a, with the fans, because the fans have got right behind them lately. And this could either be 1-1 or 2-1, but I think it'll be 2-1 to Chelsea.
You can never write out a Burnley goal, whoever they play, even if it was to play the best in the world. But like teams like City and that, they've always got a goal in them.
With Kane back again now, and you've got that Vegas that is honestly, they look like scoring. They look like they're creating chances more. I don't know how that works, but it just seems like they're creating more chances. Probably because these two lads are creating their own sometimes.
Ironically, they didn't score against the leakiest defence. But every bet I'd have is against Leicester conceding every week, and they didn't do it in the week, did they? So
I was surprised.
I have just gone for one goal in it. It's Chelsea to score it, and that's a 1-0 victory to Chelsea. But I think with Mendy's surely be back in goal. I think they'll have Thiago Silva back in there, won't they? So it won't be as leaky as it was against Luton. I'd imagine Rudiger as well. So I think they'll sit tight and they'll just get some counter here.
Okay. What's your tip for that game, Leroy?
My least favourite tip I ever do. So it means it'll probably be 4-3. It'd be under 2.5 goals. Under 2.5 goals.
Okay. Right, on to richest club in the world at home to Brighton, Newcastle Brighton.
Again, this is going to go a similar way for me with the Southampton prediction. Newcastle in great form. Could have been a different story last week if Brentford didn't have a man sent off after minutes. Mm-hmm. Or Mike Dean's back to his best, isn't he? He gave the foul to Brentford at first, didn't he? And then it turned out it was an ankle breaker. So
really need to plough some money into officials in football. Honestly, really need to just give them extra training or something, because it's so slow, it's poor. Even the VAR, you can't trust it.
Well, you've got the same idiots using it, haven't you?
That's the problem. Exactly. Crazy.
I know, it's corrupt as fuck, isn't it? So that's all it is. I think they just make it up as they go along, to be honest with you, and then they're told some sort of an instruction before the game, and then just
like the government.
Yeah. But look at the what's his name, Rodri, when he handballed it in the box last week. I mean,
that was criminal.
Yeah.
That is absolutely criminal, and that is the difference between that could define someone's season.
And then straight away, you give a City free kick for someone when the free kick happened.
I know, yeah, honestly.
And those fans are absolutely going crazy behind the goal.
It's poor. We can't have that. We can't have that kind of level. It doesn't work when you're paying massive top wages and whatever, and the clubs are getting so much money out of things. The Premier League's receiving so much money out of things because of the likes of Sky and BT. You know, come on, put some money back into football to make it the best of the best. If you're going to uphold that, up the standard of everything. You know, up the standard of the game, make it fluent, make technology, which is going in all around the pitch, which is going to be like, boom, right, that's easy. Look at that. Could see on 46 different angles. You know what I mean? You've got all that space and all that technology. You've got zip wire, you've got zip wires with cameras on for match of the day and stuff like that, you know. Come on.
I mean, you know, you look at rugby and that's more of a, there's so much more different decisions you have to make in that game and be quick thinking up there. So it's not like it's incapable of football referees to exist who are good. I just don't think they want them. I think they want the yes man type who will just stick to, you know, helping out, to me, the bigger teams, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that's where the corruption comes in, because I think they're keeping that league because they draw the more money for the league. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
I'll say, why can't they stick microphones on referees to explain the decision there and then?
can't have Wolves winning every week.
We'd make it worse for ourselves. We'd be relegated. We're too nice. We are. Whatever team, even when we had Intray and Cameron and that in the middle, we're still a nicey team to a sense. We had a bit of nastiness, but we, I don't know, we always seem to never dive or take those cheating decisions, if you like. So
yeah, I know what you mean.
Because we're a smaller club, we never got those decisions anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but sometimes that helps.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get
You look at the more teams are renowned for diving, B, getting into controversy, C, surrounding the referee, D, just dirty, you know, you get tarnished very, very quickly. You know, and it happens. So when you stay out of the limelight like that, means that you're not always going to be prone to red cards. You're not always going to be prone to things like costing you, I suppose. You know, I don't know.
We've tried. I've seen a few fans moan about our title, like if we've been winning the game away from home. So, like, you know, the Van Tyler had about Brentford when they came down Molineux. They played that perfectly earlier in the season, but we try and do it. And we can't. We're just completely useless at doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to do it against Arsenal and we threw away 2 goals in 10 minutes. So.
Oh, that was so frustrating.
we're just no good.
Frustrated. That was me one moment, actually, in the life of you, knowing what it was like to be a Wolves fan. And I'm watching it thinking, this is amazing. Doing United a favour. Go on, the Wolves. Go on, Leroy. Buzzing. Quickly taken away from me, back to reality in 10 minutes. All that.
I know. I'll get more nervous when we go 1-0 up. You know, I'd rather be 1-0 down in the game, I think, with us to come back into it.
I think you're right, actually.
They just make me more nervous because we always sit back on ourselves with stuff like that.
Right, I'm going with Newcastle to win 2-1.
I've gone for 1-1. I think Brighton's dip of form has lasted long enough now. Like I again predicted that this run of form will come, but I think you get a tiny little bit. Whether it will get back into winning ways, I don't know. But I don't think that consistency will come back for the rest of the season now. But they ain't going to consistently keep losing games because they're not a team to beat. So I can see them nicking a goal there and Newcastle having a tough day of it, to be honest with you. I don't think they've got a well-beaten team yet, so really on paper, Brighton should be the better team. Got the better record in the head-to-heads recently. I don't think Newcastle have beaten the last 6. So 1-1, I've gone for this.
Okay, and what's your tip for this game?
Double chance Brighton.
Double chance Brighton. You've gone opposite way.
You should get some a good price on that with the away team, I'd imagine. Especially with the form Newcastle have been in.
And another thrilling game here. Norwich at home to Brentford.
Be an interesting one because if Brentford are ever going to get rid of this bad away form, which is, I don't think they've bloody won an away game since the beat us. The away form's absolutely shocking. So if there's ever a time to get it now, it's against, even though people are saying Norwich have picked up, they've actually lost, I think, the last 5 on the bench in all competitions, Norwich. So.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, so they are in the losing rut.
I fancy him though.
Yeah, I have had them to win. I was thinking, should I change my mind now? I've said that.
No, I fancy him.
Yeah, because of Brentford's away form.
Brentford's wheels are falling well off, even with Christian Eriksen in the side. You know,
He could be the saviour in this game. He could, if Brentford are going to take something, he could be, and the one ended up doing something.
Yeah.
Whether he starts or not, I don't know. Whether he's up to that tip-top fitness yet, I don't know. But he looked okay against Newcastle when he come on last week.
Drip feeding him a bit, I think.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to, aren't they? You know, we've always gone through and that. So
exactly that.
Norwich are going to treat this like it's do or die for this Premier League. I think they've got to feel if they don't win this game, then even though they're in it to stay up, I think, you know, you look at the other teams picking up points now.
Oh yeah, they've all decided to start playing, haven't they?
Yeah. No, it's going to be a really tough one to predict, but you know, we've Norwich been the home team and Brentford's away form. I've gone with a Norwich 2-1 win.
Ooh. Well, I don't think there'll be as many goals as that. I think it'll be a 1-0 win.
They probably will have to defend for the lives, whether they hold them out for 90 minutes. It depends on what Brentford's approach is going to be to the game.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So you're going with 2-1 Norwich. And what's your tip for this one? Because I think looking at Tony and Mbuemo, it's all gone off the boil a bit, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, that's dried up, especially from the goal scoring. But they still give the effort into the games, but from a goal scoring point of view, it's not really been there, has it, recently? So
I think that's the problem. They're still playing out all right at times. You know, the way they play the games, all right. You know, they all work hard for each other. They press high. You know, they're good, but if you're not
just not enough quality, you know.
That's it. So, all right. So, what's your tip for this one, bud?
It's a new one this week. It's because I've seen a lot of
he's been scouting.
A lot of late goals. I've looked up in both teams' games, and it's to bet on the goal to happen in the last 15 minutes. So if you look on your betting pages, if you go on the game, it'll say goal from 75 minutes onwards.
Yeah.
Look at that. It doesn't matter who scores it. I think probably good to do it in play, to be fair. Maybe save a fiver to the side and then do it in play. See what's going on in the game, then maybe stick a fiver on it as a single.
Yeah. In game. There we go. Grand. Right then. I'm sure you're going to love this. Last of the 3 o'clock kickoffs. You are going to be there. Wolves at home to Crystal Palace.
Never enjoyed playing Palace as a youngster growing up. It always used to be, especially at Molly, always used to beat us. Who didn't?
Yeah. All right over the last few years, mate.
Yeah, we've recent. I think we lost our last couple of games against them, but we lost early in the season at Sellers Park. If we want to be serious about getting any European competition, then it's going to have to be one of the games you have to win this week.
Yeah.
Palace haven't been as convincing away, so I have gone for us to win the game. 2-0. I don't know. It depends. If he's going to put the same line up out as the West Ham game, then I'll completely change my prediction on that.
Say 4-1 to Palace.
So I knew that game was lost as soon. I put it on my Facebook, so it's there as proof. I knew we'd lost that game as soon as that team sheet came out. Yeah, so Semedo's a big miss for us. Obviously, picking up the hamstring injury, it's not going to help.
No.
Hoover doesn't seem up to it for me. Needs a lone move away.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah, he looked really good at Liverpool. I think he made his debut against us at the age of 16, 17. He's settled in at centre half there, though, and for me, he looked better as a centre half and a wing back. And that's probably why he doesn't seem as free flowing when he's going forward. And he seems a bit found out in this system. So that's going to be a big miss for Semedo. So whether they stick with that or put someone else out there, I'm thinking maybe Johnny will be ready to
Johnny
start.
will be back in, I reckon. That's my bet.
Yeah, he's the safer pair of hands. You know, he's
been there, tried, tested, isn't he? You know, yeah, he'll be there, mate.
One of the most underrated.
I don't think he'll affect them too much with Johnny playing, to be honest.
Yeah, when there's have as much freedom going forward, we can't play Trinko. He's absolute
garbage. Garbage. I said this ages ago, didn't I? I said this. If we go back loads of them, and we were talking about him, you said, "Oh, he's come from," blah, blah, and I'm like, "Yeah." Well, and I was just like, looks a bit lightweight to me.
Yeah, he's got technical ability, but I don't think I've ever seen a player look so at his depth in strength in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, he just literally gets thrown off the ball.
Yeah, he doesn't give it back as well. He just, some players who probably haven't got that.
Them on, doesn't it? And they go and back in on the next one. But yeah, he's like
he gives up. Yeah, he just gives. He gives nothing to it, you know. So if we end up selling Adama to Barcelona for 30 million and buying him for 30 million, then we've been smoking some funny crack. We need to look elsewhere. But I think we've been linked with someone from Benfica. Wing, is it Rafa? I think his name.
Of course you have.
Yeah. Been to all those Portuguese teams. Will help them get their economy going. So yeah, I've gone for 2-0.
You'll have Bruno and Ronaldo next year.
Wouldn't surprise me if I had Ronaldo for retirement. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Has got linked a lot with us when he was at Sporting.
I know, yeah.
I'm a bit more into prominence. Considering we got players like Neves and Moutinho here, you probably couldn't have ruled that out at one point, could you? But, you never know.
Yeah, I doubt it.
No. I want them anywhere, don't you?
Well, he might do, because that report that came out, Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. Begging his dad not to retire because he wants to play with him.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to come to Walsall.
No, I mean, I reckon he'll end up going back to Portugal. I think he could go back to Sporting, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought would happen before United, to be honest. I thought when Sid left Juventus, he'd go back to Sporting, but I've mentioned before, I think he could play into his 40s. He's definitely with his physical shape and fitness. So.
He'll still score rates of goals in that league.
He'll
a little mossy fly thing he's flying around my head here. I don't know where that's come from. Anyway, what is your tip for this marvellous game?
I went for a 2-0 win, just in case we didn't mention to Wolves. Conor Gallagher to get booked, or Ruben Neves, who's hanging on 9 bookings to finally get suspension checked in. So Neves or Gallagher to be booked.
Okay, brilliant. So, and on to the 5:30 on Saturday, which is Liverpool at home to West Ham.
Yeah, it should be.
I've never wanted Liverpool to do me a favour so much in my life.
I know. Well, they should be winning it. They should be. That's still, not been amazingly convinced by West Ham. Yes, they deserved the win against us last week, but I think it's definitely gone down the pan a little bit for them in their approach to the game. Seems to be
found out a little bit as well, haven't they, what they're about?
Yeah, I think been a little bit found out at times. I think they've relied on people like Dawson nicking the odd goal and the big men off set plays and that. So, that seems to
There's only so many of them that you're winning.
Yeah. I suppose that's probably what you'd have to do to beat Liverpool in their own backyard as well. So just win it on the set plays. But.
I can see him scoring on the set play. I think West Ham will score.
Yeah, I've had them to score. Yeah, I've gone for Liverpool to win 2-1.
Yeah, so have I. I think that's fair.
But Liverpool, like we say, have got a lot to play for. It's back on again, isn't it? The title race. So they've got to make sure they're going to go and win that game.
And they look so much better with that Luis Diaz there.
Yeah,
He's
going to be
absolutely fantastic, that kid.
Yeah. Like I say, again, another direct player, isn't he? Getting straight into the face of the opposition.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most important roles in football now with the big teams. You've got an inside forward who cuts in onto their stronger side from playing on the weaker side, so like a right-footed left winger. Seems to be the most common thing in football now, doesn't it? Like Salah on the other side to put in and whip a shot in. You didn't see it as much back in the day, did you? But you definitely do now. It's
Well,
amazing.
I think
things change.
you have opposite-footed players on opposite wings.
Yeah, someone mentioned it on the commentary. So I think they mentioned it with Kilman playing as a left-footed right-sided defender. You don't see much of that, do you? But like no one ever really questions a right-footed left winger. But they were saying how strange it was to see a left-footed right-sided centre-back in Max Kilman.
Must just have always been his preference to play there, really, I suppose.
He definitely looks more comfortable doing it. At first I was thinking, why have you put him there? But then again, at the same time, you got Bowman.
Well, do you know what? That, if you think about it, works well because you're always saying, show him down the line, don't show him inside. But if you've got to show him inside, then you're on your favourite side.
Yeah.
Rather than being off balance. If you've got someone cutting in at you, you're like, I can deal with this. So and then you put him down your weaker side, which is almost doesn't matter because that's where you're wanting to put him anyway, because they're less effective. So yeah, I can see why it works. 100%.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot more of it now. If you're saying it's working with him, you'll see a lot more of it.
Just end up with all left-footed players on the right and all right-footed players on the left then.
Put it down the middle, yeah. Then you'll have an ambidextrous striker up front.
So, right, well, what is your tip for this game then?
Nice and easy, over 9.5 corners. Liverpool, I think, are the main corner chiefs in the league at winning corners. And then if West Ham are going to probably nick any goals from anywhere, they're going to have to try and play for the set pieces a little bit. So
yeah, I agree with that.
They'll try and get a few knocks off for a few corners of their own. Craig Dawson's probably one of the best defensive attacking players you can have for a set play.
Ridiculous how many goals he gets.
Yeah. I mean, even before he come to the Premier League, when he was playing for Rochdale, he was banging in goals right, left and centre. He's a major threat because he doesn't even look... He's a big lad. He doesn't look half the size of half the defenders you see up on set plays, does he? But
no, he doesn't, no.
He plays the game so well in the attacking half. He's really good. Wouldn't surprise me to see him scoring there. You have a look at his only time odds.
Yeah.
Be about 20-1, I reckon, especially if it being away to Liverpool. It'd be a lot lower because he's a goal scoring defender. But he'll be major odds of that.
Right. Well, right. On to the two games on Sunday then, Lee. We've got the 2 o'clock, which is Watford at home to Arsenal.
Well, would this be the banana skin for Arsenal? You see this happen, don't you, when they seem to have this...
I was hoping it would be. So I am a bit of a banana skin for him, yeah. I've got it down to be.
Could be that yellow of that kid just adding that little bit of banana skin in Arsenal's face. I've seen the way Arsenal have composed themselves in the away games. I've seen them recently myself, down at Molineux as well, and they look a lot more assured at the back. Can't see many goals in the game unless Watford fall to pieces. Sometimes Watford do just turn up and just blow it in, like with the United game, just when they beat them. Was it 4-1, was it?
Yeah.
I know, obviously, under different management and all that, and that you probably won't expect as much under Hodgson, but these things do happen in football.
He will pick up points, Hodgson.
Yeah. But this would be, like I said, this will be his swan song. Watford, for me, are the nailed-on favourites to go there now, over Norwich as well.
Yeah.
Like I say, I think Arsenal are a lot more assured. They know what the task at hand is more now. I think Arteta's definitely got his philosophy across now for them. They all know the roles.
Yeah.
And seem pretty solid, and they've always got a threat up top as well. Not as clinical as I'd like to be, I don't think, when they get the chances. But
yeah, but
Lacazette's gone a long time without scoring. I mean, yeah, they say he scored against us, but technically he didn't.
yeah, to be honest, he's not the player that came.
No, it'd be interesting to see whether they renew his contract. I mean, like they probably should do, really, because even if they're going to bring someone for him to be second fiddle
Need
to,
somebody with a bit of experience still in there, don't they?
yeah, they need a top striker to come in the summer. I think. Well, if they get Champions League, they definitely will get one, but they need one to challenge for it if they don't.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
I think Nketiah ain't all that for me.
Never rated him.
No, he's going to be.
He got rid of a better one. I think Willett were the better of the players, the younger players that Arsenal had.
Yeah, Willett. Yeah.
He's got another brother there, isn't he? That Willett.
I think there's 3 of them. I know Chris Willock's at QPR. I'm sure there's another one as well.
There's another one who's at Arsenal in there still.
It might be in the youth team, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain there's 3 of them. But I definitely know there's Joe and Chris. Yeah, I'm sure there's another one hanging about somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going with 1-1.
Oh, yeah. So there is the banana skin.
That's the banana skin.
I've gone for 2-0 Arsenal. The tip for that one would be for Arsenal to keep a clean sheet in that one.
Oh.
Tough one. Because if Watford do turn up, then there will be a goal for them. But
yeah.
I'm just judging on the way I've seen Arsenal having a decent defence recently.
Yeah.
But depending if Tommy Asu is back in the starting lineup, I'd say it was more nailed on because I think they're a lot more defensively assured with him.
Yeah, he's good at him.
Yeah.
He is good. I do rate him, actually. Right then, on to the 4:30, which sees the Manchester derby, Man City at home to Manchester United.
If you'd have asked me earlier in the season when Solskjaer was there, I'd probably have said City or blow United away. But I think, then again, Solskjaer didn't have a bad record, did he, against City?
No.
But the way the season was going, it wasn't looking good. So I think it'll be a lot tighter this way. But I think it isn't going to be like a spectacular game. But no, it's going to be
United are going to get something. They're going to get a draw.
You think they're going to get a draw? Yeah. Usually every week I'll probably end up having City to win on there most of the times, but I've had it to be a lot tighter, and I don't expect it to be easy work for them. United over the past year, it seems to have changed. I remember growing up in City always used to be a bit of a.
They were like.
Bit of a bogey team for you at times. It was hard for you to beat them, even in
Niall Quinn and stuff like that, occasionally popping up with doubles, but it was very rare. Most of the time, we absolutely smashed City, smashed them to pieces most of the time. Remember, loads of goals, loads of them.
Yeah, they went through 2000s era, and they went through a bit of a losing patch, didn't they? Like when Sean Wright Phillips, I remember him scoring a couple of games.
Yeah. That's when they started doing well against us, round about that time, I'd say.
Yeah, but now that City are technically... Who's that?
Sean Gorter.
Gorter, yeah. Feed the goat and he'll score.
Yeah, that's the one.
But technically, like City are seen as the better team now in terms of the squad.
All round.
United actually seem to get more results. Now the tables are turned in that sense. So it's a bit funny the way it goes.
Yeah. Whereas United, people are underestimating Rolf, I think. He hasn't dropped many points.
But they're saying that they've since he's been in charge, no one's created more chances than United. So it could be interesting to see how it works out because of City probably be a bit more open because they're an attacking team.
This is why they suit United.
Yeah.
Because United play, that falls right into our hands, basically.
If they do what they did against Spurs, then you could be in the real shout of it. Mm-hmm. I've never actually thought of it this way before. So I'll probably change my mind there.
honestly, it plays right into our hands, and that's what we always say. This is why this City game really suits us. Liverpool game less so, but City does. It suits us really well, and I just think, looking at it, you look at Ralph. We ain't dropping too many points. He's not losing many games, and the thing is, we're hard to beat. We're not hard to draw. We're not hard to draw against because someone can. But the problem is with United now. We're going through this thing where if we score first, we seem to mentally try and sit on a 1-0 win, and it doesn't work. But if we go behind, we look good for something. So it's like, what are we doing here, lads? Make your mind up. But we're going ahead a lot, but then we're conceding silly goals as well. And it's like, it's just a bit frustrating. It's like just that little bit more, and then that's
probably what gives City that advantage in terms of fighter chances. If you make the silly mistakes, then that's going to be hard work. But I'll say that counter-attack and City's eye line, you get behind that, then Spurs did it. Why can't United? So
fancy 1-1. Rhythm is a dancer. Anthony Elanga. Maybe, or it's either him or Sancho. I fancy one of them. Scoring in this.
Yeah, being interesting. We'll have to wait till we see the teams themselves. They'll probably both play, won't they? Maybe, but I could actually see if Rashford plays in this, he could score. But
he's had a good record against City.
Yeah,
he scored some big goals against City.
Yeah, I think that's his preferred type of opponent, to give him that a little bit more space, especially on the counter. If he gets away, then he's good off the ball movement. Going into spaces when games are more open for him. You see the best of Rashford.
He just made some bad late decisions, and he won't shoot. It's like, pull the trigger, and he just won't. It's like,
the first thing he used to do when he first come through, wasn't he? He never thought about it, did he? Just used to always hit that nice dipping shot where he hit into a corner.
Yeah, exactly.
It used to be his trademark, didn't it? And then,
I'm going with 1-1.
I'll stick with the City 2-1 because they're going to have to try and win the game. Well, they both need to win the game, but I sort of hope it won't be that outcome because it'll make the league more interesting at the same time as a neutral to the top.
I think everyone's wanting United win tomorrow. Well,
I don't know. Liverpool fans won't. Well, they will. They
will, mate. I'm telling you now, they will. We're wanting them to win, and they're wanting us to win tomorrow, and that's a rarity. Trust me.
It must be a really strange situation. I've obviously been Wolves. I've never been really in that situation of where you rely on your rivals to win the game and cheer on your rivals. Like with obviously.
Because Villa have never been going anywhere.
I think the closest we've had it was probably round about the same era of McCarthy was trying to stay up, and we had Birmingham trying to stay up, and now Albion sort of drifted away towards the end, and then we had the season with Birmingham where we was both fighting, but there's never a time where we had to rely on each other, so it is a bit of a strange situation. I don't know how I'd react if I needed Albion to win a game, and we benefited them as well.
I bet.
So for you to be,
we've got City and Liverpool here at the minute. It's like it's crucifying, and we're third in that list at the minute. That's even more crucifying.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. Things go round, and as long as they're sorting out what's going on back room. United first of all, and laying some foundations and starting to look at some of our youth because we've got some good young kids. Honestly, I think we'll see Charlie McNeil soon, and I'm hoping we'll start. He's brought him into the first team, Hannibal Magebury, but I'm excited for him, mate. You watch that kid, him and just him and. Just them two, Charlie McNeil, them two together, they absolutely feed off each other. So it'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring, whether they bring some in, and obviously it's part of the plan too.
that'd be the interesting thing if you do get Pochettino and something, because he had a lot of chances to young Spurs players, didn't he? And develop then. It'd probably be something where that would help with him being appointed as the manager of that club in their way of seeing
Yeah,
it.
but so Ten Hag's exactly the same.
Yeah, probably less.
He had to rebuild his team because everyone bought his players.
Is he doing his? I wouldn't say he's doing his reputation any damage, but they're struggling to see it over the line this season. Ajax. Well, that put the United owners off a little bit. I think they're still winning the league, but it's not been as dominant as recent years for him. I think they've made it a bit tougher for themselves.
It's funny how the tables have turned. Ajax were looking well, they showed for it, going back 2 months. And Poch was like, oh, is he going to win it, you know? And now all of a sudden, 2 months later, it's like a whole different ball game. So anyway, what's your tip for the United City game then?
Over 45 booking points based on it's a high stakes game for both. So I think you'll see a couple of bookings from City have actually picked up a fair few this year. You don't see as much from Liverpool and City because they probably see more of the ball than other teams. So I think when they open up a counter for United, there'll be a few dirty challenges coming in. As well, United stick a couple on City as well. So I think Michael Oliver's the ref as well. So yeah, over 45 booking points for that one.
Ideal. Right then, on to the finale. So 8 o'clock kickoff on Monday night, which is Monday the 7th of March, sees Tottenham, Antonio Conte's Tottenham taking on Frank Lampard's Everton.
Well, this is one of those games.
This could be one of the games where Everton show up.
Yeah. These are the two teams that just don't go off anything by form, do they?
It gives nothing, does it?
No. I mean, Spurs go and beat probably the best team in the land in City away. Then they lose a week later, then win again. They absolutely destroyed Leeds and then lost to Middlesbrough. They're just continuing that title they've been given, haven't they? So
yeah,
nothing's really changed there. Everton, as we're doing Thursday night show, I'm just looking, and they were 0-0 at the last. Yeah, it's still 0-0 at half time against Boreham Wood. So, but yeah, I mean, if I lose that tonight, then I could I wouldn't say complete chance. I've had Spurs to win the game, but I think Conte.
Spurs to win, have you?
Yeah. Again, I've mentioned it in recent shows when we've done Everton away. Everton's away form is just as shocking as Brentford, so that's the only reason. But yeah, Spurs ain't really doing much to convince me.
No, I've gone 2-2.
I hope it'll be a high scoring and closer game like that. For the neutral point of view,
both defences are awful.
Could do with Everton winning on my behalf.
On everybody's behalf, mate. Trust me.
Just to keep that tag going on Spurs, I suppose. But now, the only reason I can go with that is because Everton. It's not just the results away; it's the performances away. So negative and poor. They need to sort that out, and then they wouldn't be in this position if they had to sorted that out because they're not as bad at home. So, yeah, for me, only a Spurs win on this one.
All right, mate. Well, what did you say? What score?
2-0 Spurs.
2-0. Battering. And what's your tip for that one then, Leroy?
Bit of a different one again. You should be able to find it on the specials. So it'd be if you can't, you can do it on the Build Your Bets, which is Son or Kane to assist or to score the other side, like Son to assist Kane or Kane to assist Son. Well, they've just proved themselves as the most deadliest front line in Premier League history now, haven't they? So they'll probably add that. I think with it being on telly as well, they'll probably emphasise on that a bit more. And if it happens, then they'll be like, we told you. The commentators love it when their stats come into play.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Oh, big stats. Oh, look, we were first to break the news. Oh. Oh, whatever.
And they keep going on about it for another 45 minutes and piss you off. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that concludes our show for this week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe, and click the bell button to keep up to date with all our latest content as they come in, as we schedule them. It's going to be a competition week in a few weeks, Lee.
Oh, is that? Oh,
yeah.
First half there.
We're going to do one. So, and yeah, we'll go from there. But good to see everybody. Good to see you, Leroy.
And you, mate.
Let's see how these bets go. Good luck.
Another tough week. Another tough week.
Yeah. Very low scoring week.
Yeah, I noticed. I was putting them through. I was like, yeah, they ain't going to be as good goals.
So let's hope we're right. And hope you win some money, guys. Take it easy. Nice to see you, and see you next week.
See you later.
See you later, Lee.
Have a good.
Cheers, boy.